everybody. What's going on? It is Monday, August 29th, 2022. You're watching the Slate. If you found us, we're streaming live on multiple platforms. We're on Twitter, thanks to the folks over at DK Nation. At DK Live is the handle, DK Nation, our digital platform, of course, on the socials. And then also you can find dknation.com. We have DraftKings.dknation.com. We have plenty of written content as well as video content for DraftKings, as you would suspect. We're also live on the DraftKings YouTube and Twitch channels. Your host today, Brendan Glasheen, with Jeff Ulrich, who covers all things PGA, NFL, NASCAR, hockey, a bunch of other stuff, marble racing at some point in 2020. He maybe did that. But yeah, we're here for the next 40-ish minutes, taking you up until the next Madden Sim on our feeds. And we're going to do some golf, just some kind of recap of the season, end-of-year golf discussion, and then move our way to the National Football League, because that is what we've been hammering here these last couple of weeks as the season nears. A week from Thursday, the season begins. Buffalo, Los Angeles. So, Jeff, what'd you make of the finish yesterday? Rory McIlroy was 6 strokes back. He makes a phenomenal run, and I think I saw you tweet this out at some point. Correct me if I'm wrong. Kind of a tough look for Scotty Scheffler.
Oh, it's definitely a tough scene. I mean, you blew a 6-shot lead with $18 million on the line. I can't remember how much they played for. I think it's 15. But it's a tough scene from the fact that, it's just, he had such a good year. He's such a good player. And, 99.99 times out of, 100, he's going to complete that and get the win. And just, he just didn't do it. It just happened yesterday that it didn't work out. And yeah, so tough scene for him. It would have been such a great capper to an amazing year for him. And, Rory gets the momentum, and big win for Rory. I mean, it was a weird year for Rory. Welcome on in, people, and come on in for the golf takes. Rory is a weird year from the fact that, I think that most years, if Rory had just won the Tour Championship and the Canadian Open, we'd be like, well, another year, no major for Rory. But with all that was on the line this year with Liv and stuff like that, and Rory just stepping up, I think people are going to remember this one for Rory a little bit more. So cool win for him. He's really become the absolute, he's kind of like the new Tiger in terms of the spokesperson for the PGA Tour, which is really cool to see. I think he's really just, that's good. I think that's going to really benefit him in the long run too. But, for right now, he's still stuck on 4 majors or whatever. And, I hope he starts piling them up again soon. I think he will, but it's kind of a tale of 2 seasons. Scheffler, yeah, he ended poorly, but he grabbed the major. And Rory, he ended well, but it's still another year without a major. So interesting dichotomy between those 2 guys. Scheffler should still win Player of the Year just with the major and the wins he piled up early in a top 10 at the US Open. So cool end to the year. Really interesting one, obviously, on the PGA.
3rd Tour Championship for Rory, 3rd FedEx Cup victory. He's also the first player in history to win 3 FedEx Cups. As far as what it means now going forward, of course, it's speaking the obvious here. It is a murky time for this sport. It's hard to imagine we'll have any clarity anytime soon, but next year, certainly fascinating as we look ahead. But look, I still think we have confidence that the big events, the majors, US Open, PGA Championship, Masters, those hopefully still carry the same weight, the same meaning that the sport has really taken off through and grown through. So looking at odds here, you've got some looks here on the futures board that you'd like to get off your chest now before there's any sort of movement.
Yeah, no, I do. I mean, it's never really, honestly, the nice thing about this offseason portion of the PGA is, I mean, obviously there's not going to be any movement, but sometimes you'll just get guys just because obviously there's not many bets coming in on the futures market right now. And sometimes you'll just get guys at hanging odds that maybe, should have moved, but they haven't, because not a ton of people are sitting here betting. And there's definitely a couple names. I mean, Cameron Young is coming off a year where he finished second and third at the PGA Championship and the Open Championship. He finished, I think, 5 runner-ups on the year, where he just looked dominant at times, and he's got the game and the length, and like the short game is pretty good. Like, this is a player who's definitely sets up well for major championship golf, and you've got him at plus 4,000 with bigger odds than Zalatoris, Brooks Koepka. Like guys who may not even, I don't even know if some of these guys are going to be playing in majors because they're on live. Like, it's really good odds for him. I think Cameron Young sets up so well for the PGA Championship and the US Open because of his length that you've got to take a hard look at him at plus 4,000, because if he wins in the fall or if he wins early in 2023, poof, these odds they're shortened. They're plus 2,000. Like, and I'm not being facetious. So I look at the futures board and I look at him. He's a player where you're going to have a ton of movement. If he does anything, I think you'll have a lot of movement in terms of him being shorter, and he'd have to really hit the garbage can, I think, for these odds to get super long. It could happen, but I think there's a far better chance that these odds get long or shorter than they get longer. So I think Cameron Young's a good offseason investment in the majors. Again, I'd definitely be looking at him PGA, US Open. Masters, probably not. Newcomers, it's tough. You can throw some down there too, but US Open, PGA, Cameron Young, that's just kind of the one I really stuck out. Obviously, we're not going to go crazy, with a ton of these players, but I think Cameron Young, you can get him a plus 4,000. I just don't think those odds are going to get much bigger for you. So
plus 4,000 on all of those events. I feel somewhat justified when we do this show. How many weeks have we been doing this now since training camp started? 6, 7 weeks. Okay. And every Monday, I feel like the one thing we're talking about in the NFL, when's Jimmy Garoppolo going to get traded? When's Jimmy Garoppolo going to get moved? When is Jimmy Garoppolo going to be activated to play or cleared to play? Where is Jimmy Garoppolo going to go? Does anyone want to pay for Jimmy Garoppolo? Oh, and what do you know? He not only is not getting released, he's going back to San Francisco. Are you kidding me? Per Ian Rappaport and Mike Garafolo of NFL Network, the Niners and Jimmy Garoppolo are finalizing a new contract that will make him the highest paid backup quarterback in the NFL, a solution that keeps Jimmy G on the roster while making it clear, okay, it's Trey Lance's team going forward. Yeah, it's super, super clear. You just got to carry the guy that was in the NFC Championship with you last year. Jeff, your thoughts? That's folks. That's breaking news. That just happened. Like,
you're such a pessimist, dude. I mean, why are you such a pessimist about this? The Chiefs made it work with Alex Smith. What is wrong with that? I mean, they couldn't get rid of him, and that's fine because it was too late in the year. The main reason Garoppolo didn't get traded is because he was injured right after the season, and they had to rehab, and teams wouldn't go all in on him.
With money.
And then the money, when again, like if he was healthy, I think the money could have been worked around. But when you have an unhealthy guy and that hit, no way. Look, we have gone over this before. It's smart for teams to invest in a big backup quarterback. You don't need to look that long ago when the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl because they invested in a really good backup. It's smart. The 49ers have Super Bowl aspirations. What if you get to week 15 and Trey Lance goes down and your team's rolling and it's really good, which the 49ers are going to be? Your season's not down the tubes anymore. It's not down the poop tubes. It's fine because Garoppolo gives you a fighting chance. So I think it's smart. I think that Kyle Shanahan is handling it exactly the way it should be handled. You don't just give up on an asset and a really, really good backup if the option is there. He's come out and said it's Trey Lance's team. And look, I get it. If Trey Lance is absolute garbage, there's going to be a bit of a quarterback controversy. He doesn't even have to be that good to be better than Jimmy Garoppolo, though. Jimmy Garoppolo was not carrying this team. He was injured. He missed a ton of games anyways. Lance started 2 games last year. So no, I don't even think there's going to be a controversy. And if there is, it's I don't know. How big a controversy is it going to be? They know what they have with Garoppolo. If they have to go to him, it's because they need to sit Trey Lance down and just give him a breather and just be like, okay, the game's too fast for you right now. I don't think that's even going to be a scenario that even pops its head. I think that what the 49ers have done have really secured themselves. And if I was betting futures, I'd love this move. This is a great move for San Francisco over 10 wins. Bring that up. Is it still at 10 wins? Should be.
Stop yelling at
You
me.
should be. This is great. If you're on San Francisco this year, this is fantastic news. Division win, over 10 wins, whatever. This is great. It's like an insurance policy. Oh, Trey Lance goes down week 8. They're 7-1. Who cares? Garoppolo can get 3-4 more wins. It's beautiful. You should be absolutely ecstatic if you're on the over on San Francisco.
I guess I'm just kind of bummed out. I thought that he could land somewhere else and perhaps find.
It's too late. Where's he going to land? Like that, if we had like a major quarterback injury, like if Zach Wilson had
Cleveland,
been
I thought.
Yeah, Cleveland.
Giants.
I mean, Cleveland.
But
Cleveland
Daniel Jones had a good preseason, so take that for what it's worth.
The Giants bringing Garoppolo would have turned that. I mean, I don't know how that's going to work out with Daniel Jones. I'm tiny bit optimistic he'll be good, but like if they brought in Garoppolo, I think I would have really made it a lot worse. So yeah, I actually thought the Giants were going to do it for a hot moment there, but I think they made the right choice. I just think that Garoppolo got a little bit unlucky with there's no major quarterback injuries. There was kind of just like this, like there's a couple weak spots for quarterbacks, but obviously Carolina addressed theirs with another option.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the other option, Houston, was they're just so bad that like investing money in Jimmy Garoppolo, it just didn't make sense. And like Davis Mills, I mean, it's kind of the same thing with Daniel Jones. You bring in Garoppolo and you're just kind of like killing any chance that Davis Mills has to catch on. So what's the point? He'll go somewhere next offseason though. If Davis Mills stinks, Houston will pick him up, or who knows? So much can happen.
Producer Tom is asking me to share something on my screen. I have it up. I'm not exactly sure what he means, but I'll find clarity on that and figure out what he's getting at. Mike Garafolo, who had the report initially, says the new deal is worth $6.5 million, fully guaranteed, with incentives that can push it close to $16 million. Okay, so the contract, yes, is and our producer Eamon has laid out as well. Yes, for San Francisco, it's forget the football part, the money part. It makes some sense. Now they could someone could get stupid. A team could get stupid in September and say, "Oh, so and so's hurt. We need a quarterback, and maybe it's a contender that has a star go down, and maybe you can move him that way." So to your point, they're not just going to give him up for nothing. Maybe they think, well, let's hold on to him. Someone could get really desperate. Really, what I'm talking about is the contender, not a bad team.
Yeah.
A bad team might be like, no, for really bad, we don't want to bring him in because he actually might help us, like Seattle. I understand now why Seattle might not want him, because that actually could make them better and maybe be in more games.
I don't even think that you'll see San Francisco trade him though. Like, why would they trade him to another contender? Like they don't want to even on the AFC side. Like, let's say the Chargers are good and Herbert goes down. Like, why would they want to prop up the Chargers? I guess that's a possibility.
Unless Jeff, I'm saying if they get stupid with the offer, they get a first round pick.
Yeah. That's no, and you're right. Like it's definitely a possibility that could happen, but I don't think San Francisco will actively shop him. I think they're just committed. Their goal isn't, their goal isn't asset management right this year. Like the season's on, they have Super Bowl aspirations. Jimmy Garoppolo is a part of that, even if he's just a backup plan.
So, and I'm assuming that's a 1-year deal. It would be.
Yeah, I didn't see the terms, but I would definitely venture that it's a 1-year deal.
So, and meaning the final year is this year coming up. So did they restructure it? Is that what they did? Is they restructured this final year? Maybe they released him and then like signed him again. I mean, that's what I would be. That's what I'm curious about, just to see if he is an expiring deal. Let's see. Yeah. So
it doesn't matter. I mean, we know what's happening this year, but
okay. So Jimmy Garoppolo is going nowhere.
He's going nowhere.
Good take though. I like the take as far as how you can. There's a way to put some action on this move. Is if you like Jimmy Garoppolo, you like San Fran last year, you do have an insurance policy.
People, it kind of goes to quarterbacks and kickers. It's amazing how people just don't consider those positions when they're betting win totals. Like if you have good special teams and you have like good backup options, that can really realistically just boost the team's chances of just hitting their win totals on the overside like so much. I mean, maybe Trey Lance misses 3 games this year. That's 3 games. What, like if they have, Joe Guy Mechanic as their backup and versus Jimmy Garoppolo, you say, wow, it's not that big a difference. It's actually a pretty big difference. Like their win probability in those games goes up significantly, and your probability of going over goes up significantly too. It's the same with kickers. People don't think about that, but you have an efficient kicker like Justin Tucker for the Ravens or something like that. I mean, look what he did last year. They don't win the game against the Lions without Justin Tucker. There's no other kicker in the league. So, you've got to look at all the angles when you, especially when you're investing your hard-earned money in these teams, man. Like you really do. So,
what I find really fitting, I just to remind myself, I Google searched Trey Lance injury history. August 29th of last year, he suffered a finger injury in the preseason against
I remember that.
1 year ago today. He did end up, he was eventually cleared for week 1 against the Lions. So that's interesting.
But they had already made their decision. Yeah.
Correct. But point made. I mean, happened a year ago now. And then he got banged up in the month of October, knee sprain against Arizona. He had to miss a game. So to Jeff's point, Jeff says 3, heck, it could be 1. And it could be a game on the schedule that you don't necessarily now have to draw up as an automatic loss. If it's, who was it before? Who was Garoppolo's backup? CJ Beathard or Nick Mullins?
Beathard, yeah. It's not actually. I don't even know who the other quarterback is there right now. It's not Beathard. It's
Beathard is in Jacksonville. Mullins is in Vegas.
He got traded to the Vikings.
Oh, see,
I know. I looked this up the other day because I actually am betting San Francisco over. So I wanted to know.
Jeff is so locked in.
Sudfeld, yeah.
Sudfeld. He's so locked in on his Niners future bets that got to make sure the third quarterback's good too. To ensure my
Sudfeld. I mean, Garoppolo's definitely an improvement over Sudfeld. I mean, Sudfeld's like he's not bottom barrel, but he's. I would not feel good about any games him starting. Garoppolo, it's a completely different story. I think the San Francisco 49ers, wherever you had them ranked in terms of over bets, like you should bump them up.
Okay. So that's a nice way for us to actually, you know what? This is great. It's a big day for us. Because that just ends this. It ends this stupid conversation. I'm just trying to do my job and ask you questions about the latest feeling on this. And now we can stop. It's over. He's staying in San Francisco. So we can stop going over their totals. We can stop debating who maybe he will take Jerry Lance's job. Go ahead. I
always said football season will officially start once Jimmy Garoppolo gets traded. And now that he's not getting traded, well, we're at the end of the preseason. Like, here we go. Like it's officially started, like we're in the, so it is nice. I am like you. I mean, I'm sick of talking about it. Like,
yeah.
It's Jimmy Garoppolo. He's not even that good. Like, why do we have to talk about him so much? But he does have a lot. Him going places would add a lot of impact.
Jeff, they've been. Look, say what you want about the guy. 2 of the last 3 seasons, they've been in the Super Bowl and the NFC title game.
This is my whole argument, though. Why you should be so bullish on the 49ers. If they're doing that with Garoppolo and Trey Lance is even just a small upgrade. Like, come on, put 2 and 2 together, guys. It's not that hard. So,
Colin Kaepernick too, and no, Colin Kaepernick was in the Super Bowl.
No,
with a good roster, and some folks don't.
I know it's like a different era of. That was like, God, how long ago was that?
Sure, but point being is the way they've run, just ownership on down. They've run a good ship there. Like,
oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
That's all I'm getting at. Like, just you can only go back 10 years ago. They're in the Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick, and folks think, well, and I'm not going there. He's not in the league anymore. Like, it just point being is
they went through a bit of a down period after that, actually. But you're right. Like the franchise wise, they brought in another great head coach after Harbaugh. Didn't they have wasn't Chip Kelly here for like a year or something? I can't even remember.
Oh my gosh, I think you might be right. After he was in Philly.
Yeah, I think he was. Chip Kelly was just that was a weird era.
That's a good point. Weird. I think he was there, and then
I think he was for a year. Yeah. Wow. And but they moved on again, like you said, they moved on from it quickly, and they got rebuilt, and they're here again. So yeah.
Okay, very good. And by the way, Trey Lance 30-1 now to an MVP. It's moving.
Yeah, again, I mean, we mentioned that you said we've been talking football for the last 6 weeks. The first week we talked about it, the first thing we brought up was Trey Lance 50-1. Doesn't matter if you don't believe on him; those are the best odds out there, and they're only going to get shorter. And lo and behold, regular season starts, and now it's 30-1. So, hopefully you got a piece. At the very least, we'll have you invested less than the people who are going to invest in him at 30-1. So,
okay, very good. What else is on your mind? Season starts. A week from Thursday.
So, a little bit of news today. Who we have? Sony Michel getting cut. So, like for fantasy purposes, Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert too. Mostert's looked good this preseason. I gotta say, if you're still doing best ball drafts, let's just touch on that quickly because best ball huge. Is still a ton of contests on DraftKings. Mostert, he is the end of round guy. I know he gets hurt all the time. People don't like him because of that. But if he stays healthy, he could go nuts in that offense. He really could. And he, even if he only gets 10, 12 touches, he's a big play guy. So it definitely bumps up Edmonds too, who's been less injury prone. I really like Chase Edmonds. I like both those guys though. So just point that out. Sony Michel, Laviska Shenault traded to the Panthers. I don't know. We'll see. Their receiving core after DJ Moore, not super impressive to me. So Shenault could catch on. Maybe he's becomes the slot guy. Baker was never really a great downfield passer in the Browns. So maybe Shenault becomes his guy. I don't know. It's just an interesting move for depth purposes. Nothing big there. I think it bolsters Carolina a little bit. I'm not as, I was down on Carolina, and I'm admittedly, that's the one team I'm a little bit switched on. I don't think that they're necessarily going to push for anything crazy, but I do like the Baker's second chance narrative. I like the fact that he's come in, he's been healthy. He really hasn't been in the media. He's just kind of kept his mouth shut.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Those are good signs. They have a good offense. I don't know.
Sam Darnold got hurt, so it's definitely his job. That takes a little pressure off of him.
It does, actually. I think it's kind of come together nicely. Where a situation really was. Yeah.
Sorry, Sam Darnold. Terrible news, but Baker's mindset. Well, I don't have to work. This isn't. Yeah. It's my job. So as long as I don't completely screw it up early, I think I have a little security blanket. Is my point.
Yeah. So I think it's kind of worked out nicely. I was actually looking at Carolina as a very distinct underplay, and I'll be honest, I almost like them on the other side now. I'm not going to bet them, but if you are looking at win totals, I wouldn't take the under at this point. I think that there's enough on that team. They also are in a division with Atlanta, so they're not clearly the worst team in the league, which is in their division, which again, if you're taking a team under, it's a good thing for betting too. If you're taking a team at under 6.5 wins, you need them to be pretty clearly if they're not the clear worst team, you need them to be neck and neck. I don't think it's neck and neck. I think Atlanta is pretty clearly the worst team in that division. I think Carolina is third. And there's a gap between them and the Saints and the Bucks. But, I think that I would lean over, to be honest, today, if you're asking me which side on that. So interesting there. And then the last news.
Well,
it's really
let me also add too. I think if you had to pick when one is at their best, who would you rather have, Baker Mayfield or Jameis Winston? At their best.
Ooh.
Close, right? I think that's all that's all I'm getting. It's close.
It's two guys. It's the perfect two guys to compare, Baker and Jameis, because they give you flashes, and they're both just been mind-numbingly inconsistent their entire NFL careers. It's the perfect comparison. Both number one draft picks. Both guys are, on their second teams, whatever. It's weird. Yeah, weird, man. That's a good comparison. I would.
Same division now, and that's it hits on your point of if you like an over. Well, okay, they got to split with New Orleans then, right? Or they've got to.
Well, the problem with New Orleans is
their defense.
New Orleans as a team is better pretty much everywhere else. Regardless of if you think Baker is the better quarterback, and I probably would side with Baker simply because he's younger, there's a little bit more, I think, unlocked potential there. We kind of know what we're getting with Jameis, but let's not forget, and I know it's a small sample size, but through 7 games last year, Jameis Winston set career highs in every single category with the Saints. And I'm not talking like, he's a little bit better. He was like miles better. Maybe that continues. Maybe it was just a flash in the pan. I don't think it was. I think that just with that offense and what they're going to ask him to do, playing behind a good defense, I think Jameis will actually be pretty effective. So I have way more confidence in the Saints than I do in the Panthers. But like I said, I'm not writing the Panthers off anymore. So those would be two interesting teams. I'm excited to watch those two, see how they go. And yeah, just the last bundle of news really is all Pittsburgh related. Deontay Johnson, TJ Watt looked like they got banged up, but probably going to be ready. It's me a little bit worried about Deontay Johnson. I love him as a player. He is really, really just a fantastic receiver. So good at getting open. I think he's going to get a bundle of targets again this year too. I'm not worried, but it's something to watch. Steelers cannot afford to lose TJ Watt. If their defense sucks, this team's going to be, it's not going to be very good. Like they're not going to be the worst, but like they're going to be like 5-6 win team potentially. So that's something to watch. Not a great end to the preseason. Then the big news that I think you can capitalize on for betting is Najee Harris dealing with a Liz Frank sprain, not a fracture.
Sprain, correct.
Sprain throughout the preseason. Now, it doesn't sound like a big deal, and it sounds like he's fine, but like foot injuries and running backs, yeah. Like if I had a red flag here, man, like I'd be waving it. Like just pretend that my wall is my flag. Like a caution, So
Jeff, I think we get it.
Yeah,
it's good.
Caution. You get it.
Go. Keep going. You did a great job showing your imaginary flag.
Yes. I love this under.
There was a benefit of those Madden sims. It helped create that very, very big imagination of yours.
It kind of stinks that Najee Harris's future total, like for his rushing total, it's 1150.5 on DraftKings. I kind of liked going under on this anyways, because the Steelers were talking about taking snaps away from him, trying to manage workload. How much are they really going to be rushing the ball when their O-line stinks and they're like a 7-win team projected? I think this team could be bad, which is good for the under. I think that Harris coming in with a foot injury off a massive usage year is scary anyways. I think that's a terrific bet. That is a player prop I'm all over right now. This is the kind of news where if you were on the fence about something or you kind of like to bet, like I like the under on Najee Harris anyways. Now you're telling me he's dealing with a foot injury? Holy cow. Like that's just like, let's go. That's exactly news I want to hear. Kind of like the San Francisco news too. So got good news on two teams. One I'm under on Harris and then over on the 49ers here. I think those are two pieces of information that actually pretty useful for betting.
One of the worst O-lines in the NFL too. So that's a concern already.
Yeah.
Never mind the injury. And
remember too, with Harris, we're talking about a rushing total. I don't care if he catches 90 passes again, like whatever. Good. Yeah. Catch all the passes you want, dude. Just like, that it's just like, it's like the last thing you want as a running back, a foot injury going into the season. I mean,
Pittsburgh's back up to 10-1 now to win the division. That may have been like that. I think it was plus 800 and it's moved the last couple of weeks. Somehow it's just the discrepancy between them and Cleveland is big, but through all three players, TJ Watt, Deontay Johnson, Najee Harris, all in the news related to injuries. So, and Mike Tomlin did say, as it pertains to Watt and Deontay Johnson, if this was a regular season game, those guys are probably going back in the game. So, but Najee Harris, the development, the belief now on the sprain of the Liz Frank joint, that's today. That's in today's news as of this afternoon. So very, very juicy news day here on the slate. So, and also was Harris out like beforehand too? Because he said, here's a quote from him. I think after the game, he said, "It was good to be back out there. I was kind of rusty a little bit, I'll say. I'd been down for 4 weeks. I got my foot stepped on. So this has already been, I think what this is telling us is he had been hurt already for a few weeks now, and they've just kind of realized it's worse than what we thought it was initially. So that's not good. It's not like this just happened. My point is that he didn't get hurt yesterday against the Lions, is my point.
Yeah. No, I think he's been dealing with it all preseason, right? So the word is like he'll be ready for the opener. But again, I mean, this just feels like something you can just sense it. It's just like, we're going to be getting weekly reports on Najee Harris's foot. Like legitimately, okay, questionable foot. Oh yeah, okay, he missed practice, didn't practice Thursday. Okay, he practiced Friday, he's fine. Next week, didn't practice Wednesday. Oh, questionable again. Uh-oh, we didn't practice Friday either. Like you can just see it coming. Game time decision, and then, or he'll be fine for a couple weeks, and he'll just be like, oh no, it's too sore, I can't play. And then again, like it's a running back, cold later in the year. What if your team's out of it? What do you think the team is going to do later in the year if the running back is dealing with a foot injury?
Shut her down.
And they're out of the playoffs. He ain't playing.
Shut her down.
You got to read the tea leaves a bit. You got to look forward. I love this Najee Harris under. I'm not gonna lie.
Shut her down. That's the plan at that stage. Shut it down. See you next year on your rookie contract. Still, you're not paid yet.
Exactly.
Shut it down. Because then what if he goes out, plays well, and plays hurt? He'll hold out and say, hey, pay me more. Shut it out. Shut him down. Some clarity real quick on the Garoppolo stuff. Just to clarify, I may have said this. I don't know if I did, so I apologize. It is a 1-year deal. Adam Schefter has now added that he does have the freedom to leave in 2023. So he's a free agent, unrestricted free agent in 2023. $500K in roster bonuses, playing time bonuses that can boost it to nearly $9 million. So it's 1 year, right now 1 year, $6.5 million, the $500K in bonuses. So that makes it 7. And then again, it can get up as high as 16. So, and yeah, I've seen some tweets here. It makes him tradable, but I think Jeff makes a good point. Why would they want to give someone else a chance if they lose their good quarterback? Especially in the conference, because in the conference, we were over this last year. And I feel this is going to be a reoccurring theme, at least through this season in the NFC, which is why I think Jeff has been consistent on this. He has a lot of faith in Trey Lance and that Niners team to either win the division or at very least make the playoffs. Quarterback play in that conference is not as strong as the AFC. And why would, especially if an NFC team has a QB go down that's contending, there's no chance San Francisco is going to give a team that's threatening them to make a wild card spot, even if it is an overpay. Like, why would you sacrifice your chances at getting one of those 3 wild card spots, if it's the wild card, to help another team in the conference? So it would have to be an AFC team that thinks they're contending and they're a quarterback away and their starting quarterback goes down. That's the only way I could see it happening.
I mean, the other scenario where Jimmy Garoppolo gets traded at deadline is maybe like things just go so quickly that the 49ers have like 5 wins or 4 wins at the trade deadline. Like, yeah, with Lance is hurt or something or what, I don't know. Maybe Lance is terrible. Then we're just like, yes, here's a write-off. It happens.
Maybe
we've seen really good teams going into the year just be like garbage and so. Yeah, but I think that the most likely scenario is Jimmy G is in for a 1-year ride as a backup and probably on a new team next year.
Yeah, and he's 30. And you know something, too? With all these injuries he's had in his career, maybe it's not the worst idea just to sit out a year, Jimmy, and you don't get touched.
Jimmy Garoppolo is just like, he really, again, like he's not as bad as people like to make. He's got a really quick release, actually, but he just seems like the perfect guy to just sit there and just like, he's good looking without the helmet on. He almost brings like an era of respectability to your team. Just having Jimmy Garoppolo on the sidelines, I don't know. Smart
Teammates
move.
like him too. Teammates like him. Kittle loves him.
He's a great teammate. Edelman doesn't like him. Whatever. Get out of here with that nonsense.
Oh, because of Brady. Come, you knew that.
Yeah, a bit. Well, and they said he was like he didn't go out and play or something.
Oh,
like,
Mark.
He didn't play through his injury. Get out of here. Martellus Bennett. That was who it was.
Bingo.
And Edelman backed him up.
You're exactly right. Right. That's exactly what that's from. Right.
Yeah.
So.
You're right, though. It's all Brady related. Those guys are just.
Yeah. Okay. And then again, blame Bill. Bill drafted him. So, and then you know what Bill did? He traded him at the deadline. So that loops back to this.
But he was forced to do that. Remember, like Belichick was like, he was all in on Jimmy G.
Because of Tommy. I know. Because of Tommy. He ruins everything.
Sorry,
everybody. We ran out of time to talk about Tom Brady and what's going on with his face and his whatever. But
face. I haven't heard this news. What's going on with this face?
No, just watch the clip. He was talking about how he's 45 years old. He's got a lot of bleep going on. It was after the preseason game against the Colts. People are asking him, "Hey, where have you been? 11 days. What's happening?" Something's going on there with Brady personally. But he looks, his lips. He looks like he got something done, some work done. Yeah. So we ran out of time to talk about that. So there will be no Tom Brady slandering on this show.
Bet the Saints.
Week
Division
2
winners still plus 310.
Week 2, and Brady and the Bucks open Sunday night football on Sunday night, first week of the season. Okay, that's it. Thanks to Eamon and Tom for helping us out. That Garoppolo news broke during the show, so thank you for some input on that. For Jeff Ulrich, Brendan Glasheen, Kaufman's here tomorrow. Kaufman will be in tomorrow, probably with Meiselman, Lamarca. Baseball winding down. The dog days of summer continue in that sport. And then, hey, if you get breaking news like we did today, probably some more NFL. So look forward to that. The Sweat airs at 11 a.m. On our platforms, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and we'll do the Slate the same time tomorrow as well. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you.